With Mr. Christensen's proposals, the role of teachers will change. Along with this change, the issue of integrating new technology into the classroom will inevitably arise.
When asked if they had room for technology that includes individualized computer courses in their classrooms, the administrators we interviewed unanimously agreed, yes, and many were already making advances to include versions of computerized learning into their classroom.
To investigate how technology will be integrated into the classroom, Sister Joanna Kepler first shares a story about the effects of technology in learning outside of the classroom setting.
We have had graduates do some virtual schooling. One in particular I can think of, her dad had the opportunity to live for almost 9 months in China.
Oh, wow.
And so the question was, could she not miss or get off grade level by going with him? The company would finance the whole family staying in China for close to a school year.
Mm-hmm.
So Ohio Virtual Academy is one of probably the premier one. It's reputable and it's got solid classes and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But generally they don't take students outside the state of Ohio. But they took this one who would be traveling to China and took them on to take those kind of classes and then see if they could get credits. There were 2 girls involved and they both struggled with it. One did not pass at all. So it was just too hard. It was too hard to stay disciplined, to log in and do it in a methodical way without the coaching of a teacher, without the motivation of a teacher, without that, even though you get feedback,
Mm-hmm.
You'll do a lesson and it'll bounce back to you and that kind of thing. You didn't have classmates. There was nothing that was like connecting to you to other students. So, because some of the courses would,
Mm-hmm.
you would be online at the same time, or you would have little corners where you could hear the other students.
Sister Joanne's story correlates with our view that online learning will be most productive inside a classroom with a teacher guiding the process. Along with the implementation of technology comes questions of affordable programs. However, Eric Bornstein feels that the greatest concern will be how to manage this technology.
I think the vision's there, and you can set a vision. I think the money flows. It's more how do you manage it, because it's quite a bit different than what I was taught and what all these staff members are taught. And then number one negative I would tell you as a teacher is typically you teach how you were taught. And unfortunately it's breaking those habits to be more effective with those. So affordability, yeah, that'll always be a concern, especially as budgets tighten even more and more. But I think right now seems to be the roadblock is how do you manage it? How do you control an environment to allow that creativity?
Tom Davis, head of the music department in Canandaigua City School Districts, talks about his use of technology in the classroom.
We already use things that assess students through a computer. Smart Music is one of them. There are music theory programs that give students practice. These programs actually are better at giving students repetition and feedback on their answers than to actually teach. So once they've been taught something, these programs are valuable in a guided feedback in students' answers. It gives them repetitive practice and time on the task. And they're able to move, some of them, much quicker than a classroom might be able to move because it's individualized.
Considering these stories of both struggling with technology and implementing it successfully into the classroom, Ned Lawver looks positively toward the future of technology in the classroom.
If a kiddo is struggling in the traditional setting, that gives our TBTs a chance to meet across grade levels, meet within the departments, and do something about it, and put them through that process. What kind of modifications need to be made? Is this a student that would succeed better if they were in a hybrid learning environment with some online courses like Play-Doh for credit recovery, or as we're trying to develop Blackboard courses at the high school, kind of like they have at the college level as far as hybrid online learning opportunities. So I think that, and our trend data is stair-stepping right now. And that's why the Worcester City schools have gone through kind of a real nice transformation here over the last few years, as we're paying attention to that. Now, are there kids that might still be underserved because we haven't fully implemented that online hybrid stuff? Perhaps, but at least we're paying attention to it and we're working on it now. I really think that Edgewood and Worcester High School are turning a corner where we're trying to be out in front on this stuff, how we're transitioning from the OAAs to the Common Core state standards, and what that's going to look like 5 years from now could be totally computer-based assessments. College and career ready isn't going to be a minimum standards-based system like we have at the OGT and the OAAs. That's going to be totally different 2 years from now, and might be, in a completely different focus. And we're trying to stay out in front on that. And unfortunately, I think we get a bad rap in education in our bricks and mortar buildings for that we're going to be pretty hidebound about change, because people can be very afraid of change. Mm-hmm. But if as administrators, as educational leaders, as teachers, if we can get buy-in to the fact that change is a constant and we have to institutionalize it, then we can do some pretty neat things. And right now, these small groups that we have of teachers that are working on individual student problems, it's having a measurable impact on achievement right now.
Overall, high school administrators and teachers are already making advances to integrate this type of technology into the classroom. While technology in general becomes more prevalent, so too will entirely computer-based learning programs become more evident in the classrooms.